is the Squadcast. I'm Joe Tutino. You're listening to Chris, Zero Cool Sucker, and Ed Rodriguez. Fuck you, Brian. Look at it. Woo!
That's the worst Joe Tutino impression.
It's the worst, yes.
And I don't even think people do Joe Tutino impressions.
It's the only one, so it's the best one.
I think Joe Tutino does impressions of himself just to keep himself sharp.
Well, welcome to the Squadcast. We are on location at each other's houses, respectively. I don't know if you know, but you knew this from the last episode we recorded. Chris is no longer in California. He is on another planet North Carolina.
Bro, you don't even know.
What is up, sir? Yeah, you're 2 weeks into your new place and new surroundings, new abode.
Yeah, not even 2 weeks. Like, I think 10 days, 9 or 10 days. I got here on Monday, the 18th. What's the date today?
The 27th.
27th. So about 9 days.
9 days, yeah.
That's cool. North Carolina's all right. North Carolina's cool.
Have you seen Petey Pablo yet?
I've seen people who look like Petey Pablo.
And have you gone up to like Petey Pablo and they start twirling their...
Oh, no, I don't talk to anybody.
No.
I talk to my boss, man. That's it. Yeah, no, it's lonely.
I know you're all by yourself for a couple months.
There's no way to sugarcoat that, but
yeah.
It's fine. It's what I'm doing. It's cheap. It's a cheap place to live. That's kind of cool. Like, as someone who's been poor for 35 years, it's nice to fill up a gas tank for $30. There's a
Obama.
Nobody says that here. No one says that here.
Not even ironically.
No, well, that's the thing. Red. Like, I live in Raleigh technically, but like I work in a city called Apex, and we're really close to Cary. And both of those places definitely did not vote for Obama. Like 100%. And not in the like poor conservative, but in the rich conservative way. Yeah. So yeah, nobody's saying thanks Obama down here, but it's cool. Overall, it's cool. I certainly got out of being interested in politics at the right time of my life, because I don't care about anyone's politics now. And this is a good place to live if you don't give a shit about what anyone else does. That's the main thing here. Nobody cares what anybody else is doing.
That's good. Like, it just everyone's like, how is it friendly? Is it people just not?
They're pretty friendly. Yeah. Most everyone's super friendly. But it's like, I was telling Erica, you know how people will say they don't, like in LA, people will be like, oh, I don't care what anybody does. It's just like, I'm just doing my own thing. But then if you say,
if you were like, lives, Chris.
Right. But if you were living your best life and voted for Trump, they would want to talk to you about it. You know what I mean? Here, they don't care who you voted for. They don't care. They don't care about you and your shit. Like, your house is your house and your business, and that's it. And they're not interested in other people's lives. They're just interested in their own lives. And like, if you encroach into their life, like, now they care about you. But other than that, nobody here gives a shit about anything that you got going on. It's all your business.
They're just worried about what's in their property line.
Yeah. Oh, don't cross somebody's property line. Yeah. You will get fucked. You will get fucked up quickly. That part is definitely true, but yeah, overall, it's cool. It's just, it's lonely, but besides that, it's all good.
You haven't like explored or anything? Like, you haven't gone like to downtown or to I see you like go out when you're working. You have like little trails or little like.
I walk.
Yeah.
I go for a walk because I have an hour lunch for the first time since I was 17.
It's pretty sweet.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's the way it's supposed to be. And I still eat, like, I have a 30-minute lunch like I did at Whole Foods. So like I destroy my food in 10 minutes and then I just like sit and wait.
And you gotta wait because it's like stuck here, so it's going down real slowly because you just stuffed it underneath ice.
Well, I have to wait because I'm salary for the first time in my life, so there's no incentive to go back to work early. So it's like if I have 2 minutes left, I'll go sit in my car. Like there's no reason whatsoever to go back any earlier. I like my job, but I don't like it enough to essentially work for free. At least in my mind, work for free. So yeah, I go out on little walks and all that, but it's cool. It's beautiful. It rains pretty. We got a thunderstorm yesterday. And so I definitely understand why it's as green as it is, but it's nice. It's all good. You would love it. I honestly believe you would love it, dude. You would get a kick out of it.
I remember like the first time. God, I keep going red. There we go.
I assume you're not posting the video, so it doesn't matter.
Oh yeah, I'm posting it. It's going on YouTube, baby.
You're turning red. Why would you do that?
YouTube.com/the Squadcast 96 or something or whatever.
Don't call it that. You gotta get it right. It's easy.
Oh yeah.
That's my impression of you, by the way.
Thank you. I will. It's the best and worst impression of me.
It's the only one.
Exactly. Yeah, man. Things have been crazy, dude. Dealing with Denise's mother's post-surgery stuff, like having a lot of people in and out of the house. It's just been like, I don't want people.
That sounds nice.
It's you're having a problem with not people being over, and I'm having a problem with too many people are over my house.
Yours will level out. Mine will get fixed. I think I have 49 days, and then Erica and Damien are here, so I'm almost there.
Well, aren't you going to be flying out for the graduation, and then you guys go?
Yeah, but I fly back by myself because I got to go to work. Excuse me. So I fly out. I fly back to LA on the 7th, and then I think I leave on the 11th or something like that because I got to work the next day. So I'll be home for the weekend pretty much, and Jonas's graduation, and then I got to come back to work. I like my job though. My job's cool.
Yeah, man. Dope. You into a field that you like want to be in, and
I've never liked a job before. Like the other thing is like not knowing anybody here and not having anything to do. I look forward to going to work on Monday because my weekends are super depressing because I just sit inside the house and it's dark and, that whole game. So I look forward to going to work just because it gives me something to do. But I got into our fitness center, so I'm working out again. That's, it's keeping me alive. Yeah, I'm mostly just trying to not kill myself at this point.
Well, yeah. I know. I saw you. I saw you. You tagged me in a post, and so like I was like, oh, he tagged me like early morning, and I'm like, bro, yeah. I'm just waking up. Like I'll get back to you in like 10 hours.
Like I try to I start working out at like 5:30, 5:45, and get a good like half hour, 45 minutes in, then get out, get ready for work. Yeah. I live like a divorced dad who never sees his kid.
What's Milhouse's dad's name?
Kurt Van Houten.
Yeah,
that's me, bro.
You're living that life for the next like 2 months.
I feel sorry for anyone who has to hear this show. That's like, man, they used to be so charismatic when they were in the same room, and now they're just talking about how sad and depressing their lives are. Like the last time he was in a closet.
Well, this is how it's going to go, man. They're going to get what they're going to get, and they're going to like it, or they don't.
As always, you're welcome to stop listening at any time. It's perfectly fine. I don't know why you're listening this long.
We prefer other people too, so I'm just like,
I don't listen to this.
Yeah, and no Ben this week. We're still trying to figure out like the setup of all this stuff, and we have to figure out how to get Tucker in on. Like if I go in the studio with Ben, and it's all going to get figured out. Right now it's everywhere right now, but we're fine. You're fine.
It'll be all right. It'll be fine.
Your lives will go on with or without us. I mean, it's better with us.
I was like, what's happening to us? Are we out of here?
We're done. We're dying. We're leaving.
Oh God, San Lorenzo's going to lose this game.
Are you watching? You're being distracted.
Well, I'm following the game. They're playing Newell's Old Boys.
Messi's club.
Matador's club.
De God.
I watch a lot of soccer. I'm catching up on my soccer where I didn't have time back home. Like I have nothing but time here. So like I watch City of Liverpool. I've been watching the Newcastle games.
And you watch them at a normal human hour.
Oh, you can watch soccer all day long on Saturday here. It's amazing. It starts. I woke up late. I went to bed at like 1 or 2 in the morning, and I woke up at I think 8:30, 8 o'clock, 8:30, something like that. And the Newcastle lineup had just came out. And I was like, right the fuck on. I lazied in bed for a few more minutes and then got up, watched the whole game. Then MLS started right after, watched MLS all day. You can, East Coast is terrible, but it's a great place for sports viewing. The Galaxy games are hard, man, because the Galaxy games start so late. They start so late.
But so this last one was bad, but they've been pretty early. Like in
10:30. They all start 10:30, man. Every 7:30 games, 10:30 for me.
I know, but this was like the first 7:30 game. Like it's this.
When we played Chicago, I was in Oklahoma City, so that was fine. That Oklahoma is fucking beautiful. Everything after New Mexico is really, really nice. New Mexico is awful, the worst state that I drove through by far. But you hit Oklahoma and beyond, and it's really, really nice.
Was it like the people that were just like dickheads, or?
Well, it's like the terrain wasn't great. Like I liked the rock formations and all that. The geology was really cool.
I feel like everything just looks yellow.
Like, it's like dirt. Yeah, it's a lot of dirt and rocks, and then it's a bunch of people who live around dirt and rocks who are not happy about it, and clearly a lot of drugs. I think from New Mexico to probably Tennessee, I didn't get helped by a single person that had a full set of teeth, like at all.
Bro, it's where the blue meth was invented.
Well, it's like the meth, and I'm sure it's a lot of poverty. There's a lot of poverty in the middle of the country. I know we're bouncing all over the place today, but I haven't talked to Ed in 2 weeks. There's a lot of poverty out there, man. Like, whoa. I mean, it's COVID doesn't exist anywhere outside of California. Like, no, there are no masks anywhere in America outside of California. What else is there? What else is different? I know there was something else. No one uses the phrase Native American outside of California. Like Arizona and beyond, it's all Indian.
It's still Indian.
Yeah, it's all Indian. Well, like the Native Americans, because I understand the majority of the people listening to this are in California, and I'm not trying to trigger anybody. The Native Americans, they use the phrase Indian because they're just trying to sell shit. Like they're trying to sell moccasins and Indian beads and paintings and all that shit. And they're like, we're not
leather and turquoise jewelry.
Yeah. Oh yeah. A lot of that. But we're not trying to bury the lead here. Like we're trying to sell this to people who want to buy Indian shit, not people who want to buy Native American shit. So they're just like Indian jewelry, Indian rugs, Indian moccasins, whatever, Indian, whatever. It's all Indian. There are some absolutely gigantic Indian casinos, like outside of Arizona, New Mexico area, like a lot in Oklahoma and even Tennessee. I mean, like stadiums, like gigantic Indian casinos.
Get that paper, man.
But they were so big, you couldn't believe they were actually. I mean, it's gonna sound racist, but it's cool because I'm in the South now, so it's fine. Don't worry about it. You couldn't believe it was owned by Native Americans. It was in such a big building. I was like, oh man, that's an evil white person that owns that building for sure. The person who's actually making money off of this is definitely like a Bret Hansen.
He's like, I'm 132nd Navajo.
Yes, Bret Hansen, 137. 137?
132nd.
Oh, 132nd Navajo for sure. But it's cool. If you get a chance to drive across the country, like definitely do it. It's awesome. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I just had a coworker said she drove to like Florida over the like break we had. I'm like,
what's crazy?
That's crazy.
It seems crazy, but like it's really big. It's a big fucking country. But once you start driving across it, you're like, it's not, it's not that big. Like it's big, but it's big enough where you could drive across it in a couple days. And it's, I did it in 4 days and 3 nights. You could easily do it in 3 days and 2 nights. If you just are like, if I had a more reliable car, I could have did it in 3 days and 2 nights. Easy money. You should try, man.
Yeah. I want to do it. There's like those sites you see like, oh, here's the best route for going across the country, and you can see all the
Oh, you
sights
take the
or whatever.
40. Take the 40
That's
for
what
sure.
That's
Yeah, that's what I took. It's beautiful.
Yeah, someday.
You're never leaving LA. What are you talking about?
What are you talking about? I'm moving to New Mexico.
Sell Indian jewelry.
I need to get my meth body.
There you go. Oh, meth chic.
How do you think I'm going to lose this last 100 pounds?
Getting ready for the summer.
I need my summer meth body.
Summer meth body, baby.
Yeah, dude. But yeah, man. Let's talk some Galaxy. I know we missed a couple games. We missed a big one. We missed the week after LAFC. A lot's been happening since we last recorded. I don't know, man. Should we talk about Nashville? Do you want to get into like a little bit of the past we missed, or?
It's already bedtime for me, sir. So whatever you want to do is fine.
Oh, bedtime. Chris has a bedtime now. He's
I gotta work. I got shit in the morning.
He's hitting his peak adulthood now.
Well, I'm salary, so I guess I can stumble in a little late. It's not a big deal.
Got himself a big boy job. Got himself a big boy salary. Now he's like, all the time he would talk shit about me where I'm like, I gotta wake up early for my job. Blah blah. Yeah. I'm like, what a puss. Look at him.
Do you want to add some context to how I talk shit about you? Because sure. the point was, even when I was unemployed, I was waking up before you. So all of your complaining about when you needed to wake up was moot because I was still waking up at 6 a.m.
No one told you to have a child.
Oh, this is coming back. Just so you know, just so you're aware, this shit's coming back. It's like a boomerang. I'll smack you in the side of the
head. Yeah, whatever, dude. I'm gonna keep you up for 3-hour podcast. Let's go.
Yeah. My connection is going away. Oh shit, my hand disappeared.
Your whole body disappeared now. Ah!
Yeah, it's not gonna happen. That's never gonna happen again. So if you want to record Fridays, Saturdays, we record right after a game, 3 hours if you want. Doesn't mean a thing to me.
Let's do it. We'll do it.
Yeah, especially when's the Galaxy games we can do an episode right after the game because I think it's 3:30 my time this weekend.
Against ours, I have no idea.
I think it's it's definitely RSL, but I think it's 3:30 my time, so it'd be 12:30 you guys. Yeah, we can record right after if you want. See if Ben can figure out live. That'd be fun.
I won't be available Saturday.
Who told you to have a kid?
No one. I'm a 34-year-old child.
What do you got to do? What are you doing?
Oh, Saturday. No, I don't have anything going on Saturday.
Your default was to lie to get out of it. Just so you understand.
I got things to do.
For a 12:30 show, well, I guess it'd be like a 2:30 show. Your default was to be like, I can't do it.
Yeah, I can't do it. It's out of the question. I can't do it.
In case you guys wondered how much Ed cared about all you.
A lot.
Oh well.
All right, let's talk Nashville, man. You were able to watch the game. You were living it on that such an exciting, what was going to be a 0-0 game until the god Dejan Jokovic saved us.
Yeah, kid. I mean, he's right. He's played himself into deserving more minutes. I think it's his third goal, first this season. Oh, getting junk minutes. I mean, essentially junk minutes.
Yeah.
It's
what it is. It's junk minutes. It is what it is.
They're junk minutes. Yeah. It's the end of the game. It's usually the substitutions you would do to slow down another team pressing on you or advancing on you, things like that. I thought he performed brilliantly in the time he was in, found the right space, took a great tight angle shot to get 3 points. Best celebrate. I watch a lot of Galaxy highlights. Best celebration I've ever seen in any of those highlights. I mean, that was fantastic.
What they're calling the Lars lift now.
The Lars lift. I love it.
Yeah.
Hope to see it in FIFA 23. If he's certainly making a case for starting over Cabral if we're going to maintain this 4-4-2 with two forwards. If you're playing Cabral at forward, there's no real logic in playing starting him over Dejan, who is effective in some way, where with Cabral you're mostly ineffective. I get the other attributes he has, I get that he wears on defenses and he kind of stretches defenders, puts Chicharito in better spots. And since he is your primary goal scorer, that's great. But I forget who it was. Someone in Guessman's Discord mentioned it this week. Chicharito's had calf injuries every season he's been with us. It's almost inevitable, right? If no one else is scoring but Chicharito, you're a single calf injury that's probably likely at this point away from nobody scoring. So
I mean, you've brought up on the show that he's never been a 3,000 minute player.
Yeah, he's not going to give you 3,000 minutes, and we're already pacing him out for a 3,000 minute season. So at some point, you got to start sharing this load a little bit. And the majority of the argument is, do you start Dejan with Chicharito, which is still going to put Chicharito at a 3,000 minute season. So you're still setting him up to get injured, but we can't even cross that bridge right now. You got to look at, we start someone who is mostly ineffective every single match he's in. He has intangibles that are beneficial for sure. And that benefit Javier's game, but Chicha had a cross that was on a plate. If Javi was on the end of that, he, obviously he's not crossing to himself, but if he was on the end of it, it's a certain goal, and Cabral just completely whiffs on it. Chicharito's not even yelling at him. He's not gesticulating to him. Is nothing. He just turns around, lowers his head, and walks away. When the most positive guy.
That was after has been yelling at the dude for like the whole game.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Like, he's
visibly frustrated with the dude and just like, I'm done.
What's the point? Yeah. Why? We're going to play him again. He's going to start the next game. So what's the point? When Captain Hyper Positivity is just walking away and giving up on you, like it tells you everything you need to know. And then when Dejan scores, when everyone celebrates with him, Javier stood back and waited and took his time and let Dejan do his whole celebration. And then when he was done celebrating, then they kind of did their celebrations together. And you're like, all right, well.
Yeah, like the Chicha was doing his thing, and then JJ was like, pew, 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 pew.
There's chemistry. Like, there is a chemistry between those two. So I hope he gets a start. He's certainly given himself a case for it, an argument for it.
Because we're gonna come up some months where it's like 6 games in a month. Like it's some of these schedules, like later on, it's really crazy.
That's chiefly where you would play Dejan and Cabral, where you play Dejan up top by himself and maybe sub Cabral out.
Like in a midweek game, like
start him on the bench.
Give Chicha like some of the like rest he should probably get in.
Give him the junk minutes. Give him the last 15, 20 minutes. Let him see if he can do something.
Looking at May's schedule alone, there's 6 games.
Yeah, I mean, that's rough. That's going to be hard on a team that has a pretty consistent starting 11 and not the deepest bench in the world. That's part of Greg's issue. If you're trying to win these games, and look, I'm not complaining by a stretch. What are we, second, third in the West? I'm not complaining. Like, we're still making the most out of what we have. But we're still over reliant on a singular center forward, which has been a problem for coming on 5 years now. Yeah. That if it's not one guy playing center forward scoring all your goals, nobody's scoring any goals. That's always eventually going to bite you.
Because you think back on the days where you had Robbie, you had Giassi, you had Landon, you had Mike, you had all these guys who can contribute goals. Beckham would contribute, 5-6 a season. Buttle. It wasn't always just we have one dude who's going to score, and if he's not scoring, we're screwed.
Yeah, and at least with the other guys like Alan Gordon, McGee, you had guys who played a different game than the main forward. Dejan is a poacher. Like he in general plays a similar game to Javier, which I think is part of the reason they don't play together all that often. But you just got to deal with how you're built, and the way we're built is very hyper over reliant on Chicharito and not a ton of second options past him, which is the same way we were built on Zlatan, super hyper over reliant on a singular center forward, and then then Zubak, with all due respect, like not a lot of extra options past the main guy. It seems like a disaster. It seems like you're built for a potential disaster. So far, we've avoided it, which is great. We're playing really well. I think we have 4 clean sheets. We have 4 sellouts for the stadium. Like, overall, it's not a complaint by a stretch. But you can certainly hear a growing swell of the fan base that have kind of called time on Cabral. You're even seeing MLS talking heads like MLS, New York, headquarter guys saying, probably time to cut bait on Cabral and see what you can do.
Yeah, I think the only thing that's actually helped us out is that the defense seems somewhat stabilized.
Koulibaly.
Koulibaly. Next to Edwards has probably been, one of the best defenders of the year so far.
Can I go you one further?
And I wish
he is the best defender of the year. I know you can't say it. Edwards does it, but he doesn't defend.
What are you talking about? Yes, he does.
If you look at the main thing Raheem Edwards does, all the plaudits he gets isn't for defense; it's for what he contributes in attack. If you're talking just about breaking up opponents' attacks, the main defender we have this year, crazy as it sounds, is Sega Koulibaly.
Yeah, well, see, I think Edwards has done a fantastic job of being a guy who disrupts a lot of attacks, especially like catching attackers slip in and, taking one too many touches. You see Edwards step in and sneak a ball out. He does that quite often. But I do agree. I think Sega has been surprisingly been a lot better than he was last year. But I would say that a lot about the defenders. Like, Derek Williams is getting back in there and he's looking like when he first got here. Edwards is tremendous. Araujo's probably been the biggest disappointment this year.
He's getting better.
Oof.
It's still. I don't know if he's bought into the hype or what's going on, but he's getting closer. He's just not. He's not that consistent Julian that we had before.
It's just he's probably been my biggest disappointment this year so far. You can say whatever people want to say. Cabral. I know what Cabral is bringing. Like, he hasn't been disappointment. He's just been Cabral. It's not been different. It's been him from last year. And then it actually is. I mean, if it was disappointing from when in the preseason where, we saw him 1.5 games where he looked like, okay, maybe he's changed a little bit. Oh man, it's the same. So I can't really be.
Well, that's the thing with
upset.
Cabral. What have you gotten from that guy so far? You've gotten a preseason game where he was good, and you got an Open Cup game against a lower quality opponent where he was good. That's it.
Yeah, but even with the lower, the USL team, it's like you should be better than them. You're a DP for one of the the best teams in the league, the premier team in the league.
He's a young DP too, so he's purchased 5-year deal, as you corrected me because I completely forgot about last year. He's got 3.5 years left, give or take, depending on how you want to slice this year. He's got 3 and 2/3 year left, whatever. You buy him as a project. You buy him as a sellable project. Who the fuck besides us would pay money for him? Who in the world?
No.
Who is the person? And we all already know the answer to this question.
Maybe just sell him on the name of him just being with us alone. Like, we used to be able to do that.
But who in the world signs Kevin and Remy Cabral?
Yeah. I'm gonna say no one.
Jovan Krovsky.
Yeah.
Jovan Krovsky, yeah. He'd be the one. The same guy who did the Shelvick deal, and the same guy who did
that 5 years.
The same guy who did the same guy who did the Pipo Gonzalez deal.
Yeah.
I was thinking about it while I was walking on my lunch break. Can you imagine someone who brings Zlatan Ibrahimovic to Major League Soccer and is still the most hated person in the club?
Did he really though?
Look, that's the story.
They had lunch. We didn't. That's the whole thing. We didn't choose Zlatan. Zlatan chose us.
Yeah, but they had lunch. They're friends. They know each other. They're connected and all that. But you managed to help. Here, we'll phrase it this way: you managed to help facilitate Zlatan Ibrahimovic coming to the Galaxy, coming to Major League Soccer when he's not highest quality Zlatan, but he's still Zlatan in his pomp, and he still got it, and he still had that aura.
It was an unknown thing with that after his injury and all that stuff, yeah.
But the guy went back to AC Milan as leading Serie A right now with Zlatan playing as their main center forward.
Oh, he's one of the sole reasons he's one of the reasons they got back to where they're at now.
Yeah,
because they were like 8th place and like not even close to being where they were going to challenge for anything.
Yeah, it was rough times. He got Zlatan here before he went back to Milan, before he went back to competing for a Serie A title and things like that. And Jovan is still disliked by the fan base that I would consider, in the know, a little bit more knowledgeable about it. It speaks to the increased knowledge today than I would say we had when we were first getting into it, or when we were first, really getting into supporters groups and stuff like that.
Well, I think that's why we cry out for the importance of independent, media, or whatever you want to call us, or independent voices. Back when we were starting out, there was literally nobody. There was like maybe 1 or 2 soccer reporters covering locally, and that was it.
When was the last time you read Ivis's website? It was must-read stuff back in the day.
Right.
I couldn't tell you the last time I even followed that dude on Twitter.
Yeah.
It's a whole new world, but it's great. That's the way it's supposed to be.
But that's what I'm saying. It's supposed
to grow organically.
And with Karofsky, is one Zlatan offset all the other bad choices?
No, not even close.
In the last, not counting this year, because we do look, better than we have in the last 6 or whatever. But those 6 years, like, what have they done to raise the profile of the team, raise the, on-field product?
It's 2 different questions. The profile of the team, Amor Eterno it. Amor. The on-field product, not a ton, no. But Amor. I saw a Galaxy executive. We'll say I saw a Galaxy executive at the LAFC game. I was hammered, and I bumped into him. I was like, effectively, all you do is follow our Hispanic players around with a cell phone to show people that we have Mexican American players. He's like, no, I don't. I was like, yeah, you do. You pretty much do. I was like, I can pull up Instagram right now. I guarantee you Julian's 6 of 10. It's like, no, he's not. I'm like, might be 5, but it's probably 6 of 10. It's going to be in that area. We've made moves.
I think we did it on the show where we went through Instagram and was like, let's count them.
We've made moves to alter the profile of the club as a whole. On field, you'd probably say we've slipped backwards a little bit. You probably say we slipped backwards a lot.
There's definitely eras. Like the Beckham era was like, let's get the Europeans in. Let's like, the known European soccer players. And then once that ended, it's like, okay, we need to do something.
Can't really say it, but we won with those guys a lot. It was nice when we were winning with those guys. Just maybe something you revisit when you're done with your current project.
We also had Bruce Arena, who's like, will go down as the best coach ever to coach in this league.
Oh, don't say ever. Don't say ever.
I mean,
ever is scary for a long time. Probably for a long time. But look, what people forget is there were people who existed entirely. I'll use Man United. There were people who existed entirely, or not existed entirely, but the majority of their core Manchester United fandom was under Sir Matt Busby. And they thought Busby was going to be it. Busby was the best that we'd ever get. No one's ever going to overtake Busby. And then they got Ferguson. No one's ever going to overtake Ferguson. That one might be true.
Yeah. I'm like, I'm waiting for the next one because I don't know.
But, it's no one thinks about Manchester United's, 1964 season. But it was probably really, really important to someone. And the Galaxy are going to operate the exact same way. When we're old men, Damien will certainly learn about the 2011, 2012, or, I'm his dad, so who's going to learn about the 2010 Galaxy season because that's my favorite. But they'll learn about some of these old these old legendary teams, but it won't be theirs. They're going to look at it a different way. And, we're blessed to have had the era that we got, and they're going to have their eras. And, for all you know, someone's going to come in. Robbie Keane's going to pick up the reins and coach someday and coach the Galaxy to 3 championships in a row. And you and I will still be sitting on a porch going, yeah, but he doesn't hold a candle to Bruce Arena. And Damien will be like, are you out of your mind, Dad? What are you talking about? 3 in a row? And
yeah, like, but those Bruce Arena days were, whew.
He beat RSL, son. What do you want? Like, it's, he had to stop Seattle when Seattle was trying back before they got relegated to the USL 1. You just don't understand that it's hard for people to understand we're only stewards for a short amount of time, and we get to enjoy this for a short amount of time. But, the club will be 60 years old before you know it. If you're lucky enough to live long enough to see it, damn near 30 years.
Yeah.
Before you know it, will be at 40 years.
Yeah.
Before you know it, will be at 50 years. And what you remember from the 2011, 2012 season, whatever, isn't going to matter. It's going to be peanuts. They're
going to be like, what the hell was a DP rule?
The young DP.
That'll be, non-existent in 10 years.
Well, imagine explaining GAM and TAM and all that stuff. Imagine trying to explain the allocation order. When say the purse strings get released someday and the owners finally get to actually splash money on players, and you have to explain how when a national player, when the U.S. men's national team player was returning to Major League Soccer, he had to go through an allocation list. So you had to trade for the rights to a player that the other team has no right to, because he has no interest in going to that team. We all just get eras. We all get really fun eras, and shamefully, this is the current one.
What do you mean you have a Gareth Bale as your allocation list, or whatever it's called?
Might go to United. Yeah, he might. The rumor is he's going to go to DC United, which would be
Discovery. That's what it says. Like a Discovery.
Discovery. Yeah.
It's like,
so
how
you discovered Benzema? How is that possible? He played 600 games at Real Madrid. What do you mean he was discovered by Charlotte FC?
It's because we have Mikey Stevens as our director of scouting. So.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, I remember that too. About that.
Mike Stevens, man. Good on him. Get a job. Get a job while the getting's good. Is anyone who's unemployed, this is the time to go meet Chris Klein. He's gonna take care of you.
Go find out what church he goes to. Go find out what church he goes to. Just hang out with them. Be cool.
I've known Klein 10 years. How am I not technical director?
At least you should be director of something. At least.
I mean,
those titles are just deal them out.
Throw them out. Meaningless. They're all meaningless. All it means is you got to get coffee every now and again, cash your paycheck. Be fine. I still don't know that Pete Vianis is fired. How did Pete Vianis go from general manager of the Galaxy to halftime analyst? At least as far as I heard, no other jobs in soccer between the two. General manager, halftime analyst. For the team he got fired as general manager from. No other soccer related jobs in the middle.
Hey man, you gotta get
good enough to be general manager.
Good enough to run your youth academy.
Oh,
good enough to be a general manager.
It's a fun team, man. It's a fun. And look, this is why I don't get mad anymore, because one day all these people will be gone and all of our complaining will not matter at all. So you just try to enjoy it as best you can.
For what it's worth, they probably won't recognize the name Michael Stevens in 5-10 years anyway. So
if we didn't talk about him and Guessman didn't talk about him, and LA is our house and Straight from the Stands, and who am I forgetting? There's a main one I'm forgetting. Simply Soccer, I'll toss in there. I know I'm forgetting one more. Say LA is our house. Nag News, that's what I'm forgetting. If all of us don't talk about Michael Stevens as the director of scouting for 2 weeks, it goes away. The news story goes away.
It's a Galaxy news cycle.
Yeah, the news story goes away.
Yeah,
we won. Dejan got lifted into the Lars box. Hey.
And also the Galaxy will put out some like nice jacket, and people were like, "Oh, sweet." I promise you'll never hear again that Michael Stevens is director of scouting. It just won't get brought up until it's like, hey, Michael Stevens is released as the head of.
Till he's released, yeah. Till he's like, and look, I hope he is successful,
or he finds some job somewhere else.
I hope he did. You see what his experience was?
Like 3 years at U.S. Soccer and a year at
part time. part-time, 3 years part-time with U.S. Soccer, 1 year with the Chicago Fire. Director of scouting for the so-called largest team in the country.
Cool.
3 years part-time for the entire
maybe
U.S. men's national team.
Maybe he'll be good at delegating.
To
I mean, to whatever scouts we're going to be hiring.
What other scouts can you name? He still answers to Karofsky,
who technically was like the only scout we had.
Yeah, it's a fun time, man.
When he would just talk to like one French dude, and the French guy was like, "Yeah, I got players for you. I got plenty.
Can they play? Yeah. You got to offer me a little more than they're worth,
sure.
And we'll make it work. We'll make it work on the back end. Don't worry about it.
I mean,
allegedly.
What's your definition of playing? Like, what do you know?
They'll show up. Hey, they show up. I saw on Twitter, someone was like, Cabral's the worst DP we've ever had. And someone was like, well, he shows up to work. So he's got Geo beat. And you're like, yeah, he's got Geo beat. Geo cost $40 million, didn't show up to work. So
yeah,
he's got him beat.
We started talking about Nashville. We really went off the rip.
Dominated. Yeah.
I mean, it definitely seemed like Nashville. We'll go back to Nashville. Okay.
San Lorenzo won.
Nice. So what were you worried about?
We're terrible. We're awful. That's what I'm worried about.
But with Nashville, it definitely seemed like they were ready to get done with their 8 road game, opening of the season, to get back to home where they're going to open their new stadium. So they definitely were like, we're just going to sit back, and this game's going to be a 0-0 as much as close as possible. And it definitely seemed like it was going to be like, it was frustrating from a Galaxy standpoint of having like 65% of the possession or something crazy like that. And
that's all. I would have thought more.
Holding off Nashville to, one shot on goal. Again, that's coming down to, Sega Koulibaly. You had Revolution had a great game. The midfield, I think, is really been great at holding that center midfield, especially.
Did you see Koulibaly's his heat map?
Yes, I did.
Spent the majority of the game in Nashville's half.
That's
crazy.
Insane. That's so crazy.
Like the slower of the 2 center backs. That's how dominant we were. That's how high up we were pressing. That's how much of the ball we had. He played full 94 minutes, had 94% passing accuracy, won but just under 70% of his duels. Like, you can't ask for more from that guy. He's doing everything you need him to do.
So here's some numbers for you. Total passes, the Galaxy had 719 to Nashville's 342. So doubling their passing. Accuracy, Galaxy had 89% to Nashville's 78.4. 5 corners to Nashville's 2. Offsides, 1 compared to Nashville's 5. Nashville beat us in duels, even on 11 tackles each one. So it's definitely a dominant performance from the Galaxy. And we've seen in the past where they have issues breaking down teams. We saw it with Chicago. We saw it with Nashville now. We've seen it where I think teams have figured out if they sit back, they can frustrate. And if we find a team that's going to, be able to counter us and actually have strikers who are going to be able to score on us, it'll be interesting.
Well, part of it's like we don't have that, we don't have that Cam. We don't have that 10. We don't have that decisive passer. Vasquez isn't playing. Efrain is still really shaky and isn't putting together consistent performances. And the argument is always that he's young, but it's also his 4th season on the team. So you expect him to start getting around to this, and you're still finding games where that guy disappears for long, long stretches of it. We just don't have someone to put that final ball that kind of unlocks a defense and kind of breaks down something that like Luka Modric does, and not obviously not to that standard, but a player that finds that ball that makes it through 2 or 3 guys, passes through the channels, and can get onto Chicharito. It still mostly crosses, whether it's low. Even the Dejan goal against Nashville is across from Derek Williams. That's over the top. So we still struggle with that through ball. So a team can get set up and can almost set up like a low block and keep us from getting a shot on goal that's going to be a high scoring chance, not just a shot. You know what I mean? Like there's shots on goals, and then there's an opportunity to score a goal. We're still getting shots off. They're just not going. They're not doing much.
Yeah, because you have it where you obviously see where the game's more open. Chicha sees more of the field. He has more open space. You have teams where they're doing the low block, and so now you have 4 or 6 guys around him. Where if the game is a little more open, you only have 2 guys, 3 guys at the most that he can work through. So it's definitely a lot harder. But then you're seeing they're getting chances, and it's just the finishing on anyone but a Chicha or Dejan. Like there's got to be someone who's going to finish those chances.
Yeah, and you don't even want to say a Chicha or Dejan because this is his first goal of the season. Like it's Chicha. It's, for the most part, it's still, if Chicharito's not scoring, we're not scoring.
Yeah.
And that goes back to the earlier issue of his hamstrings and the amount of minutes he's going to get. If your whole team is built around, if this one guy doesn't score, you need to do everything in your power to make sure he stays as fit as possible. Because if he goes down, we're done. Like and that's the truth of the matter right now. Everyone who's online is, to use a young person's phrase, every person who's online standing this Dejan, it's his first goal of the season. If Chicharito goes down, we are done. We are sinking. We sink like a rock. Playing him full games or playing him deep into a game is irresponsible at this point. We have to, because we're not scoring. We're scoring very late, and we're holding teams off until the last minute and things like that. But if he goes down, we're done. We're utterly screwed. But the main argument for starting Dejan shouldn't be that Cabral is terrible, although it's a solid argument. A good argument for starting Dejan is he needs minutes in the event Chicharito eventually goes down, because historically he is eventually going to go down. And when that happens, you don't want the person who's replacing him to have 64 minutes on the entire season. And you're halfway through, or you're going into May where you have 6 games, and the guy that you're playing, say Chicharito goes down at the end of April. Say he goes down, knock on wood. Say he goes down in the next game. Say he goes down against RSL. So you're going into May with 6 matches with Dejan, who hasn't really played, and Cabral, who has no business playing, and that's it. That's what you got. You got Costa, who can't play 90 minutes. Cabral, who shouldn't play 90 minutes. Grandsir, who can't play 90 minutes. There should be another plan. We're usually at this point of the season, we're waiting, we're getting rumors, and we're hearing, back in our day, you're hearing about who might come in. And this day is for the young people, for the kids. But back in our day, in our heyday, by this time of the year, you would be hearing rumors about who might be coming in, and we're rumored to this guy, and the Galaxy are trying to get this dude over the line. The last couple of years, and again, not a bitch fest. I'm happy that we're doing well. Like I'm happy we got 4 clean sheets. I'm happy we got sellouts. In general, I'm happy. But I'm a cautious person, and certainly when it comes to the Galaxy, I look at the lineup cautiously, and looking at it cautiously, like we're still set up with a recipe for disaster. If Chicharito goes down, and historically he is very likely to, I should say, we're going to be in trouble. We're going to be in big trouble. So I hope that's not the case. As you say, May, we have 6 games. There's a lot of likelihood that we're going to need to see some rotation. It's good that Dejan is scoring late into April and making a great name for himself late into the month leading into these 6 games, because he's making the case, hey, if it's me or that fucking kid, there ain't no reason in the world that kid should be getting more minutes than me, outside of you covering for the fact that you made a signing you had no business making. That should probably be investigated. If there was anyone interested in all that jazz, allegedly.
allegedly. Yeah. And it's, we've seen this is the same story over and over, where we know we need a second striker. We know that if we rely on the one guy, that if he goes down, then our entire season is more than likely screwed.
Over. Yeah, it's over. It's funny. I was talking to someone on Guessman's Discord. We were weighing the issue is, if for everyone who's like Cabral out, we got to get rid of Cabral. We got to, MLS people are like, you got to cut bait. There are stipulations for Cabral being a young designated player that allowed the 3 U22 signings. Julian Araujo on a contract he shouldn't be eligible for, but won't talk about that. Efrain Alvarez on his renewed U22 deal, and Dejan of all people. So what happens if you get rid of Cabral? What we were discussing was, so looking at the benefits of Cabral as a young DP and what you get in the 3 U22s. Say we didn't sign Cabral. We missed out on the playoffs by a ref's decision last year. A ref's decision in the Kansas City game, which I had completely forgotten about. A ref's call in the Kansas City game dropped them down to 7th, which bumped us out of the playoffs altogether. So say you don't sign Cabral. Say you sign any other half-competent soccer player as a DP, right? Say you sign Ed and Zeko, whatever, as your third DP. You already had Julian. You already had Efrain, and Dejan, I think, had 6 starts, 17 appearances. He only got 2 goals, and those 2 goals were against LAFC. You sign any other DP in Cabral's spot, we probably make the playoffs. Like we're a worse team with Kevin Cabral and the U22s that we were able to sign on account of him than we would have if we didn't, and if we had that spot open, or if we use it on somebody else. At least if we did a Douglas Costa, 18-month, 2-year deal, we would be the end of this season out from having another open designated player spot in a World Cup year and figuring out what we want to do. But if you look at it,
that's what makes it worse. That's what makes it worse. Just like the length of everything.
It's a long time.
It's such a long deal.
It's a really long deal on players that you have no idea how successful they're going to be. Yeah.
And yeah, it's a big risk, and you're trying to, big risk, big reward or whatever. But when has that paid off in the last 5 years? Where have we signed or sold anyone for big money?
Ever. The one that you would point to that I can think of, and you please correct me if I'm wrong, the closest that I can think of was Jose Villarreal going to where do you go, to Pachuca? Cruz Azul. I think it was Cruz Azul.
Yeah, Cruz Azul.
And then we sold Omar to Pachuca for $2 million. That was it.
Or what about I guess it wasn't really our deal. What, Ariel Antuna going to
Uriel? Yeah, but it's not. That wasn't our deal. That was a player we took on loan that we made look good for Manchester City, who then flipped him for $10 million because we were never going to pay it. But if we bought Uriel Antuna instead of Kevin Cabral, we make the playoffs last year.
we would probably be a better team for sure.
It'd be a much better team.
As much as I was like not a big fan of his, like yeah.
I thought there was more there. I didn't think we got everything he was developing still.
Yeah.
And it was
I thought
raw.
it was fine.
There was a lot of raw attributes, but there was more there than we had gotten. And I definitely thought he had more to offer. I didn't understand a lot of the hate that kid got. But I get it. He was the way the Galaxy tend to position certain players. You're asking more of them than a loanee for Manchester City who is never going to play for them. And the way he should be positioned is he's a loanee for a team he's never going to play for. So let's see what we can do out of him versus, the Galaxy putting a mural of him up somewhere or whatever the fuck they would have done. We could have done so much more with that kid than we ended up doing, but it's all to say, like, we're wasting valuable time of Javier in the same way we wasted valuable time of Zlatan, in the same way we wasted valuable time of Nigel de Jongs, in the same way we wasted valuable time of Ashley Cole. Like, we're wasting time of these players who aren't coming back. Brian, I looked at myself in the mirror today and I was like, ooh, way more gray hair than I'm used to seeing. Like, I'm stressed to the gills. Don't get me wrong. I got a lot of shit going on and all that, but time is passing. We don't get arguably the best. And look, I say arguably. I love Todd Donovan. I don't want this to be questionable in any way.
Here comes the but.
But how do you're telling me you're honestly telling me Todd Donovan was a better left back than Ashley Cole? Are you crazy? Come on. It's ridiculous. We wasted the best left back we've ever had. We wasted the best defensive midfielder we've ever had. We've wasted, at least on talent and on skill, we wasted the best striker we've ever had. We waste talent. We waste time and talent now. It's what we do. We're wasting Chicharito's time. We wasted Zlatan's time. We wasted Nigel de Jong's time. We wasted Ashley Cole's time. This is what we do. This is who we are now. We're a team who brings it. We're Manchester United. We bring in talented names and then we waste their time. Now, Man United's got a whole different issue where their players don't seem to want to play very much. But we get these guys that we have no real business being able to sign, and then we waste their time. It's I don't know. There doesn't seem to be a way to fix it because we're focused on different things. We're focused on, in the same way as Man United, we're focused on marketing and getting out ahead of, competition and we're savvy and, we're these things and, we're that and for the community and we're doing all this other shit. We're not in the business of winning games. If you're in the business of winning games, we're preparing Dejan to play significant chunks of minutes because we're getting ready to come up on 6 games in a month.
Yeah, there's a couple of months where those games are going to be every 4 days.
We're squeezing every summer friendly that we can and just packing them on in. When you got one forward who plays games, you have one center forward who gets to play minutes.
You know it's going to be in the contract where he has to play.
And he's playing. He's playing them games.
I mean, playing against
unless he gets injured. Unless he gets injured, he is playing them fucking games. And we all know what games I'm talking about, and I haven't even said it. You're all racist, not me. But he's playing every fucking minute of those games.
All right, let me read this email Big Tony sent us. Again, appreciate you, Big Tony, for all the work you do, sir. Prognostication. And this is a nice summary of all the things we missed up, so we're going to read it. Well, I guess it's time for an update. The last time the boys were on the air, they had just made predictions for the Chivas USA version 2 game. If you'll think back, Chris predicted a 3-1 win. Ed thought we would see a 2-2 draw, and Ben expected a 1-2 loss. Well, I guess we know that only Chris notches some points, as Ben and Ed's lack of faith
still
hurt them again. Plus, it's going to be a three-peat. Plus, Chris picked up a bonus point for Chichas slotting one home. Then came the visit to Chicago. Ed was finally convinced the G's would bring home a win. So much like Chris, they foresaw a win in the cards. Ben, of course, does not believe in the team and expects losses. Well, the Fire turned the game into an ugly, ugly display of soccer, and it ended 0-0. So no points for anyone for that game. Finally, it was time for the G's to host Nashville back at their digs. Going into this game, only Chris thought we would see the win. I mean, Nashville, right? Come on, who would expect a draw or a loss? That would be both Ed and Ben, who expected a draw. So Chris grabs yet another point, while Ed and Ben continue to get nothing. So with a quarter of the season gone, Chris leads with 6 points, while Ben only has 1, and Ed still has nothing. Seriously, it would be difficult to get as few points as Ed. In fact, I'm going to figure out a way for my dog to do predictions, and I bet she will do better than Ed by the end of the season.
Dog treats.
Ed, be prepared to lose to an adorable Chihuahua Terrier mix.
That sounds adorable.
That sounds adorable. Listener predictions. Oh, there's so much to go over. Coming out of the Chivas USA 2.0 game, 10 people correctly predicted the score, and well as one of the goal scorers. So they picked up 4 points for their efforts. The predictors of the correct score and goal scorer list include Chris G, David Klein. By the way, congrats on the baby, David. Beautiful, beautiful baby. Victor L, Ron L, Bryam with an M, Matt Erickson, Robert the Bruce, Jose A, Darth Musk, and Ivan. However, Ivan predicted a Galaxy own goal, so he only bags 3 points, while the rest get 4. Then came the ugly draw Chicago, where Chris G and Steven, our good friend Steven Ma, correctly predicted the 0-0 scoreline. By the way, Steven in Chicago for that game, so good on him for being there and predicting the scoreline correctly. Interesting, this is the only time in the last 6 games that Steven didn't predict the G's own goal. If he'd stopped doing that, he'd be tied for 5th. But nope, he's still trying to hit it big. I guess he's a gambler. 7 other listeners predicted a draw as well, but expected to see some goals, so they picked up a point. Otherwise, it was no points for the rest of the predictors. Finally, get to the Nashville game. Well, we did have 37 listeners predict the win out of 41. Only 4 people correctly predicted a 1-0 win. Unfortunately, no one expected Jovelik to slot one home, so no one picks up bonus points for the goal scorer. Only the 4 listeners, Ramsey, Steven, Uncle Dishwasher, and Walter C, get points. However, as I mentioned, Steven predicted an own goal by Koulibaly, so he lost one of his hard-fought points. Wait, I know what you're saying. Steven correctly predicted the 1-0 scoreline, but also predicted a G's own goal. Yep, he followed the brave course. He followed the brave course originally set by a few other listeners and forgot how to do the maths. Come on, guys. It's not that difficult. So where does everyone stand now? In first, thanks to his 2 big weeks, Chris G leads with 13 points. David Klein and Victor L follow closely with 12 points. And Jason L comes in third with 10 points. And he says he'll send out the link to full standings and prediction links in the emails this week. Looking forward, this Saturday, the G's travel to Utah to face fake Salt Lake. For anyone going to watch the game, please remember to do classic Jamesy chant. Salt Lake sucks. Fresh water's better. Anyway, the third place G's take on 6th place RSL. The G's have 3 points on RSL plus a game in hand. RSL have been poor in form lately, having drawn 3 and lost 2 in the last 5. One of those losses was in the Open Cup to Northern Colorado Hailstorm FC. Wow, what a name. Never heard of them, but they beat RSL 1-0. So maybe the G's have an opportunity to grab some points on the road, especially if they can turn the goal scoring faucet on, as RSL allowed 6 goals by New York City FC, but kept a clean sheet versus Portland in their last match. It's an early game, so get your predictions in before the 12:30 p.m. kickoff. The link will go out tonight, but sent me that yesterday, so maybe it's on his Twitter. Let's see. He gave us the prediction order, and then he says, after you've picked Pippi, the Galaxy game prediction dog, awesome. we'll place her prediction.
Do you know about the hailstorm?
I don't know, but I know they are like a brand new team or something this year, right?
So that's who they played in the Open Cup, and I think it was their 4th competitive game, and they got drawn against their 4th competitive game were the first, I think 2 of the first 3 were Open Cup qualifiers, like the Open Cup rounds, and their 4th game was against RSL, and they beat them, I want to say 1-0 to progress in the Open Cup and knock them out, which Manny says we're going after. Manny says we're shooting for a trophy this year, and I believe him in a way I never believed Bruce Arena. I
will be on that bus to Orange County.
You going?
Yeah. I'm sorry, I didn't. So he actually had his dog predict a scoreline for this game. So he says,
why don't you toss it out, because you need all the help you can get.
I know, right? Pippi the Galaxy game prediction dog. He says, I placed some treats on the floor on top of some Post-it notes. Whatever Pippi chooses first, that's her prediction. So her first prediction is the G's lose 3-2. Well, we will see how she does. I haven't figured out a good way for her to predict the goal scorers. So since she's a Chihuahua, she'll go with Chicha, Brace. Good luck, Ed. Wow. And I'm pretty sure
predicted a loss.
I'm pretty sure that but I'm pretty sure that dog's going to beat me in the prediction game, because I'm awful this year.
Let's see how you go here.
I've been really bad. I feel like this is going to be like a trap game, just because RSL have been bad, and we're riding on a nice wave. But I feel like I should go against my gut feeling, because my gut's been really bad.
You're so little trusting yourself.
Yeah. So I'm going to go with my last prediction. I'm going to go 2-2 draw.
2-2 draw. I'll wait on
I'll say Chicha with 1. And then I'll say, let's go with Koulibaly for a second. Set piece goal.
What are you doing? Why are you going? You're going as bold as humanly possible.
Set piece goal.
You're trying to get back into this.
Give me extra points for it.
Okay. I'm going to go nice and easy. I'll take a 1-0 Chicharito.
Smash and grab or what?
Smash and grab, yeah. I mean, well, this is the thing. RSL's not great. They're sitting on a -4 goal differential. We're at a +4. I like to go with Tracer. You can always trust the goal differential for how it's likely to go. They're really not great. They don't have Rusnak, who would have scored against us.
Yeah,
which would have driven me into the 1-1. It's more that I can't see them getting a goal against us, given how we've been playing with the 4 clean sheets, than necessarily my trust in us. I really want to pick Dejan to get a goal, but it's too risky. So I'm going to go with Chicharito as a safe bet. 1-0. Call it a night.
All right. I don't think we put out a post for lightning round questions. So
I didn't.
Yeah. So then neither did I. But that shows you how much of a prepared show we had for you guys.
We're figuring this out.
We wanted to get something out for you guys because it has been a couple of weeks. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the show. Chris, where can they find you on the social, sir?
We're cool. Yeah, we're good this week. Leave me alone.
I
want to be left alone this week.
Normally it's Zirkle138 on
Goodreads.
the
Goodreads
and Twitter machines.
Yeah, just Goodreads.
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at EdTheZombie13. You can find the show at excuse me. There's no mute buttons on this thing.
Squadcast 96 pod.
Squadcast 96.
Something.
YouTube.com/the_Squadcast_pod. Email us at squadcast96@gmail.com.
Tony's. We should be giving out Big Tony's since he doesn't tweet from the
Big
show yet.
Big Tony _42, I believe.
42, yeah.
So Big Tony _42. That's where you get all your prediction game links and all that stuff. So if you want to participate, and you can probably join now and still, beat me.
He hasn't done RSL yet, so I imagine by tomorrow it's going to get posted.
Perfect. So join the game. It's fun and get on that.
I'm giving him the Twitter account tomorrow. I keep meaning to do that. I just looked at his Twitter followers. No disrespect, Tony. I just looked at his Twitter followers. It genuinely doesn't make sense that he tweets it from his account.
Well, we usually always retweet it anyway. So
yeah, but if we don't, then it just doesn't work. Like it doesn't make any sense. I see him in the Discord. I'm gonna give it to him right now. So follow the Squadcast Twitter account, and Tony will tweet it out.
And he'll tweet it out from there.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it right now.
All right, buddy. Anything else before we head out of here, man?
If anyone knows how I can get marijuana in the lovely state of North Carolina, yeah, specifically Raleigh, but yeah, it's not fun. Yeah, that's great. That's it. That's all I need. That's all I want from all of you. Everybody else, leave me alone.
All right, everyone. Hopefully, you guys have a good week. Hopefully, we'll figure this out for next week and be safe.
Saturday, Ed, we're recording on Saturday. We're recording right after the game. Ben's gonna figure out how to go live after the game. We're gonna do a live show right after the game. Commit to it, Ed. Commit right now.
We'll figure it out. Nothing.
Commit, Ed. Commit.
This is my last show. All right, guys. We'll talk to you guys next week. Love you. Bye.
Peace.